Finish him. Or her?
Welcome. And today we'll dive into two separate ProRevenge stories and reactions. Coming up we have a post from Cordero Biggs titled, "Fiancé left me due to my cancer diagnosis. I left her destitute." And a post from Metallic and Die 2 titled, "Neighbor likes to park in front of my house." Okay then. Hi, this is Derek. I just put the Drama Llama, Fred, back in his pen so that I can do this quick video for you with some of the stuff that Fred found on Reddit earlier today. If this is your first time watching our videos, help me out by watching to the end, and then giving me some feedback in the comment area below. And if you want more of these videos daily, don't forget to like and subscribe, with notifications turned on for this channel. Oh boy, let's get ready for some deep-seated revenge. Cordero Biggs posted, "Fiancé left me due to my cancer diagnosis. I left her destitute. This has been 4 years ago, so the sting is gone and my revenge has been had. Sorry, if this isn't the right forum. We dated for 4 years and had what I thought was a great relationship. We were both well-established professionals who both owned homes in the same neighborhood. And both with daughters in the home. Her daughter was 11, and mine was 16 when we met. We had actually planned to get married, build a house, and raise the two together. We planned the house build because she had recently been diagnosed with a neurological disease that would eventually put her in a wheelchair, and need something American with Disabilities Act friendly. During the planning stages, I began doing landscape and construction projects on her home to increase the resale value. All in, I invested roughly $30,000 into the home, running everything through my side construction business for tax, permitting, and resale purposes. We had a contract that payment would be made upon the sale of the home. I produced invoices for each and every project, but never pushed for payment because of the prior agreement. Fast forward 6 months, we're looking at property to develop and finalizing drawings on the home when I began feeling ill. I couldn't eat, constantly vomiting and passing blood. I began noticing that my abdomen looked swollen, which was odd because we were both very clean eaters and were in the gym every day. So I went to the doctor and began having tests done. During this time, she began having small cognitive issues, and the stress of her current position was exacerbating her condition. So she took a $20,000 per annum cut in pay along with a lesser position inside the company. After a month or so of different tests, and a biopsy, it came back that I had a golf ball-sized tumor in my stomach, and would need to begin chemotherapy. So I began chemo and radiation treatments, which made me, expectedly so, extremely ill. She was spending time helping around my place on the weekends, and staying over more, to the point that they were both at my home, more than theirs. At this point, I suggested that we go ahead and put one of our houses on the market, and move in together until the new house was built. I have great supplemental insurance as well as a long-term illness plan. So using that coupled with the sale of one of our houses would push us through comfortably, and help ease the financial stress on her. Shortly after this discussion, she became extremely distant. Her daughter wasn't coming down and hanging out with mine anymore. She had excuses for not getting together. She quit driving me to treatments and stopped staying over. She then dropped a bomb. A sentence that will forever be burned into my psyche. "I love you, but I can't see myself taking care of someone this sick in the long term. And I don't think we should see each other any longer." It broke me. I won't lie. This was the first woman I had ever opened up to, and planned a life with since my wife died when my children were 1 and 3. However, I tried to be mature about it. I forced myself to understand her position and to accept what I could not change. I calmly, the next day, gathered all of her things, packed them neatly, loaded them in my truck, and took them to her house to leave on the back porch while she was at work, in order to avoid any awkward exchanges. Walking around the back and under the porch cover, I sat down a box, and saw her in her back living room, on the couch having sex with a man that she had introduced to me as a lifelong friend. I had dinner and drinks with this man and his girlfriend. We had gone on vacation with them, as well. I never spoke of the incident with her, and simply sent her a text later, explaining that I would leave her things on my side porch to pick up at her convenience. I discovered 8 or 9 months later from his now ex-girlfriend that they had broken up due to him confessing that he had been sleeping with my SO, dating back to about the time we were finishing drawings on the new home. Now I'm pissed. Revenge time. At this point, I had finished chemo and radiation for the time being and was feeling healthier. I was going through some much neglected paperwork when I ran across the file that contained $32,680 in unpaid, long overdue invoices, which were promptly sent to my attorney to begin lien proceedings on the home. It turns out that I couldn't have done this a moment too soon, because she was set to put her house on the market. Coupled with interest over the course of, what was then, 19 months overdue, the invoices were hefty. That, along with the agreement of settling them when the house was sold, and attorney fees, left her with roughly $10,000 after the sale of the home, and settling her current mortgage. She promptly had to back out of the purchase of another home, and moved in with her oldest daughter, Sil, and 2 grandchildren. She also had to leave her job and begin receiving disability. I ran into her a little over a year ago, and she looked as if she had aged 20 years, and was in the wheelchair we had talked about. We chatted cordially but briefly and I excused myself and went on with my day. A few days later, her younger daughter called me and spoke of my running into her mom, and could we hang out sometime? I gave a vague answer, thanked her for calling and again, went on with my day. The ex then called me a week or so later, and began apologizing for leaving me as she did. Again, cordial but short, I thanked her for calling and hung up. She began texting and this went on for several weeks until one she asked if I could ever see us rekindling what we had, to which I replied, I can't see myself taking care of someone so sick in the long term. Remember the box on your back porch? Did you think that, lifelong friend, you brought over from my house? Good luck to you. Goodbye. Girlfriend broke up with me due to me having cancer, so I ruined the sale of her home, the purchase of another, and left her to have to move in with her daughter. Then threw her breakup line back at her. I sometimes feel guilt over this, but not much, and not often. What are your thoughts on Cordero Biggs's revenge story? Please share in the comments below. Here's how some Reddit members reacted to this story. Norsk Chef reacted with, so this woman knows she is headed for a wheelchair. And she has a man that not only doesn't care, but is gonna help her have a home to accommodate a wheelchair. And help care for her, and she dumps him so she can bang another guy who is cheating on his girlfriend. Talk about short-sighted stupidity. How progressive is her disease? Is she likely to die at an earlier age? She's in her late 40s now? It took her from an able-bodied marathon enthusiast to a wheelchair in about 8 years or so. I'm unaware of her current prognosis. And best thing you could do is not involve yourself at all in that. You fought to stay alive yourself. Went through the poop heck that's cancer treatment and now you're back on your feet. As for her, can't say I don't feel she totally deserved this. Some people are just pieces of poop and would betray someone's trust for a copper coin. Arukthis reacted with, that was brutal, yet 100% deserved. It's a major shame you couldn't see her face when she read the box on the porch comment. Spooky Red reacted with, her friend probably stopped wanting to be with her once she was wheelchair bound. She lost her job and is on disability now, and thought that by rekindling with you would be better for her financially. This is some poetic justice poop right here. I'm sure some of it had to do with the fact that I had mentioned to her daughter that I had finished building the house, and she saw it as an opportunity. Living in a 3-bedroom home with 6 occupants, 2 toddlers and a teen plus 3 adults, has to be rough, especially when all 3 bedrooms are upstairs. So inevitably there had to be some less than optimal adjustments made. Phoenix Waller reacted with, so she expected you to look after her when she eventually became disabled, but couldn't hack being a supportive partner for your cancer treatments? Darn, that's cold. Lions Pride 14 reacted with, dude, that was brutal but absolutely glorious. Just out of curiosity though, how did she react after you threw the same breakup line back to her? Did she at least apologize or even acknowledge that she cheated? Pretty sure the guy left when poop got real. Lol. Karma, I guess. Kazbask reacted with, I don't get her logic of being unable to take care of someone long term. Especially since she'd be in a wheelchair and will obviously need long term care. Or like planning a marriage with someone, does sickness and in health mean nothing anymore? You got out at a good time, op. Congrats on beating cancer. Well, I told you this was going to be a 2-for-1 and this first one was really mind-blowing. So let's go on to our next post and enjoy the story. Metallic and Died 2 posted. Neighbor likes to park in front of my house. Okay then. This happened a few years ago. My neighbor started parking on the street behind my car, like literally inches, for no apparent reason. My neighbor has a driveway, empty, and also lived 2 houses down the street. I don't have a driveway, so on-street parking is a must for me. So, after a few weeks, I asked if it was necessary to park so close, when there were literally no cars on the street for over a 1/4 mile. He said no, but there's no law against it, with a big poop-eating grin on his face. A few weeks pass by, and my car gets hit. Because someone thought there was enough room to clear, as his truck blocked the view of my car entirely. I see this happen, but unfortunately can't get a model or license plate number. I find my neighbor's email address, because I really didn't feel like talking to him, and asked him again if he could just park further down the road, closer to his house. He replied, nope. Suck on it. Okay. I had lived here for quite a long time, and never had any issues with him or any other neighbor. I keep to myself, never make noise, don't have any noisy pets or parties, etc. His truck has his business name on it. Google it. Find out it's his own business. Lots of Yelp reviews, BBB rating, etc. All these links point to his website. I go to check his website, it doesn't load up. I head over to Whois and see that the domain isn't registered. I snag it. Before I think of what to do with it, I Google the owner's name, and find out he's been convicted of murdering a child 20-ish years ago. I find a handful of links that details his story rather explicitly. I copy/paste all those links into an email to him. A throwaway account so he can't just reply to me, as I deleted it afterward. Said something like, well, if you want to be a jerk for no reason, I just bought your business domain. Here's all the links I plan on posting on it. I don't have to list your business name, because all of your business listings across the internet have this URL pointing to it. Keep parking like a jerk. Yes, it's legal, but you are willfully doing this just to annoy me. I legally bought your domain, and can legally link these articles. Park behind me again, and I'll launch it. Within an hour his truck was moved into his driveway. He asked me for the domain, and I told him when either you move, or I move, I'll hand it over. Until then it'll remain offline. Only thing fake was the time frame. This happened last week, not a few years ago. He was originally charged with capital murder, but his lawyer convinced him of a plea deal for manslaughter, because they have way more than enough to convict you of capital murder. For those saying this is fake, I'm putting my house on the market in 2 to 3 months. When it sells, I'll come back and post all the news articles. I won't be anywhere near here, so doxing will be much more difficult. What are your thoughts on Metallic and Died 2's revenge story? Please share in the comments below. Here's how some Reddit members reacted to this story. Dapper Mermaid reacted with, I think you're going to have a very nice and quiet neighbor from here on. He would have to be crazy to cross you for any reason at this point. He murdered a child. I wouldn't put crazy past him. Please tell me this is sarcasm. The dude is literally a murderer. I don't know any murderers personally, but I don't think nice and quiet neighbor is how I would describe one. Lol. Poignant username reacted with, Ops too afraid of confrontation that he sends emails to his neighbor, yet is brave enough to legally coerce a child murderer over a parking space. Some of ya all are gullible as F. And finally, Bacon Connoisseur reacted with, be careful, as you may be opening yourself up to extortion charges, since you are influencing someone's legally allowed actions through a threat of harm to their reputation. We have a legal system, not a justice system. The authorities will enforce the law as it is written and not the way we wish it was written, even if the final decision is in your favor. The legal fees to get to that point could be devastating. Edit, blackmail would be the appropriate legal term. Well, there you have it. A perfectly great question answered by a bunch of fine and honorable citizens. Help support this channel by smashing the like and subscribe buttons. And hit that silly little bell as well to ensure you get the latest videos as they come out. Fred is always finding stuff for me to post regularly. So this is Derek signing off. Thanks for watching. Good grief, it sounds like Fred is out of his pen again. I think he found more drama for me to share with you. See you soon.